Well,
Thank you.
let's move on then. Deepak Fertilizers, that's the next corporate on our radar. We're speaking to the company post the announcement of a demerger of its mining chemicals as well as fertilizer business to simplify the group structure, and also they believe that they can realize economies of scale. The demerger will take place in the ratio of around 1:1. We have Mr. Sailesh Mehta, the chairman and managing director of the company, who joins in. Hi, Mr. Mehta. Morning. Thanks so much for joining in. Well,
Morning.
you're going ahead and you're trying to unlock some value for shareholders, so we'll have to see how this plays out. But give us a couple of numbers. What is the timeline by which this demerger takes place? I'm guessing you'll have two listed entities, and also if you could split up for us, what kind of synergy, what kind of debt breakup could we see in both these two entities?
Sure. Thank you. So first, let me just share that we are in three businesses.
Yeah.
So Deepak Fertilizers into industrial chemicals, fertilizers, and mining chemicals. And now, over the last 40 years, we have developed, a very strong, I would say, base for all the three businesses. And looking at this strong base, we have, thought of now looking at a demerger where each business can be housed in each corporate entity. And this, just to give you a little bit of the rationale, and then I can come to your question, that the whole rationale and the driver behind it is that in each of the businesses, we are planning to bring in a unique, I would say, transformative strategy where we are moving from commodity to specialty or holistic solutions. Or if I would put it differently, from a customer focus, which is the dealer segment, to a consumer focus, which would be going down to either the farmers for the fertilizer business or right down to the mines for the mining business. And so a strong move from, I would say, competitive pricing to value pricing. And in order to somewhere deliver this strategy, the corporate restructuring is something that we have brought in now very strongly. So that right from organization structure, reward recognition, somewhere in terms of even the board focus will be on that business and driving it from commodity to specialty. So that's the undercurrent, I would say, strategy. And the way we look at is from, I would say, if we look at last year's total revenues, the split has been 40-30-30. So almost a similar kind of a split between
Mr. Mehta, Mr. Mehta,
yes.
Some part of what you're saying we already have with us, and you have given out a good press release as well. We want to know more though. So tell us about the timeline by which you believe that these two, you'll have two listed entities. So can you tell us what is the timeline, and also how will you break up the debt? I think at peak you were going to have 5,000 crores odd at peak debt levels. So how does it get split between these two entities? Go ahead.
Sure. So basically, in terms of the typical NCLT timelines, it's roughly around 6 to 9 months. And when we are through with that process, the split is going to happen effective from 1/1/2022. So it's a little retrospective. So from that perspective, the split into the three entities will happen effective from 1/1/2022. Now, currently, it is Deepak Fertilizer, where the chemical business is, that is the listed entity. And the other two are going to be the unlisted entity. And we will look at an opportune time for the listing. Currently, what it will do is, of course, help the investors get a much better visibility and somewhere a match between the investors' interest and the corporate entity focus on that business. And of course, it will open up doors for listing, for strategic investors' interests, and so on and so forth. So that is the opening that is emerging out of the demerger. As far as the debt goes, a large debt, project debt, which is for the ammonia project. The ammonia project is going to be housed along with the mining chemicals. And the reason and logic being that, it's a key raw material for the mining sector. So it will give a good, complete value chain into that business. And so in a major sense, the debt portion will be sitting in the mining business, and which is, of course, doing exceedingly well, riding on the very beautiful alignment with the India growth story, whether it's coal mining, whether it's limestone, cement, metals, minerals. So that is a business which is roaring, and that will be where the major debt will be housed.
By major debt, could you tell us the number in the mining business?
Broadly, I would feel that, somewhere close to around 3,000, 3,500 crores.
Got it. Okay, so one more question. You indicated that for the other two demerged entities, you will look at a listing at an opportune time, and you're also open to strategic investments and partnerships into these companies. Can you tell us in FY24 what is likely? What are the conversations that you're having currently? Do you think a listing is possible in FY24 or it's going to take place a little later?
Probably a little later because,
Okay.
currently the projects are, today we have already had completely financial closure for both the ammonia project and the TAN project. So we don't see that need. Conversations with global leaders is continuing, and that is something that's very interesting. So that we will see how it unfolds.
Yeah, Mr. Mehta, bringing in a partner or a strategic investor, how much will you be looking to dilute in both these two other entities that could be listed at a later date?
So the the thought process and the driver behind getting a strategic is what value they bring to the table in terms of technology, in terms of, support, in terms of the customization, the specialty that we are looking at. And based on that, we will see what is the value add that they bring and then consider, what dilution will make sense and, how it will add value. So currently, it would be speculative to just say that there's a number. We are looking at what is the value add that the strategic will bring to the table.
We could see a strategic investment next year?
You know how it is with the strategic investment. It should make sense, and when it makes sense, we will come back to you.
Is there a particular size that you are looking at before you list the other two entities?
More than size, we are looking at an opportunate time where, the market also sees the value addition. One aspect that is there is that the ammonia project, which is going to be part of the mining business, there we are seeing that by around May, June next year, we will be into production. So that will further, enhance the whole value proposition. So we are seeing that if once some of the capex is all in place, then one could look at the next step and the next step.
All right, and so in the next year, maybe by FY25 or FY24, we'll have 3 listed entities. Is that the plan?
See, the timing of it, like I said, will depend on, the various opportunities.
Ultimately, we'll be looking at 3 listed entities.
Absolutely. So, that is the whole process. The chemicals business, the mining chemicals, and then the fertilizer. So 3 entities.
But in 2 years, that should happen, right? I mean, or whatever you want to do in terms of bringing a strategic investor or the likes, or, bulk of your capex will be done as well. So should we assume by FY25, we'll have 3 listed entities?
You have some good wishes for us. Thank you.
No, the wishes are there, sir, but we want clarity about a timeline. I think what you're trying to indicate is you can't give us a timeline as of now.
Yeah. It's linked to the strategy that we have in place.
Okay, all right. And this, that mall that you have in Pune, which we discussed last time around, which has a potential value of around 650, 700 crores odd. Is there any progress of divesting that, and which entity will this be housed in?
So currently it is housed in Deepak Fertilizer, which is the listed entity. And we are in the process of somewhere repositioning that business also from a commodity to specialty perspective. And post that, then we will open up the doors for, a variety of restructuring that.
Mr. Mehta, we'll leave it to that. Thank you very much for joining in. That's Deepak Fertilizer and Petrochemicals Corporation talking about their plans when it comes to demerger and the way forward. But let's quickly take stock of the market. Markets continue to slide. Now it's down more than 200 points on the Nifty. The Sensex is lower by 665 points.